Hi, thank you. Pleasure to meet you again, Mr. Khan. And so great to see friendly faces around the screen of people who have been part of this conversation and campaigned for quite a long time. Fahim, thank you to you for pulling this together. I think, we can't allow the current COVID crisis to stop our international responsibilities more broadly, and also not, reflect that it's worse now than perhaps for a long time in terms of the international community being able to look in. Uzma, can I thank you for the work that you've done behind the scenes to make this meeting happen and to make sure that people broadly turn up on time. I know that's no mean feat from the meetings that we've had before to do that, so thank you for that. I mean, I suppose for me, I'm kind of looking towards next week and the 8th of July and thinking that will be a year since the UN Human Rights Commissioner published the report on the human rights violations that were taking place against the Kashmiri people. And we have seen almost no progress. We've seen almost no international assertion of that international rule of law and the protection of human rights. We've seen very little from the UK government in taking a leadership role in this. And this is natural, of course, to reflect that this is an issue that cannot be resolved unless we see a willingness from both Pakistan and India. It's got to be done by consent. It's got to be done by working together. But of course, that won't happen by accident. And we've seen that now over 70 years of inaction when the human consequences are significant. And so I do feel as though the UK government needs to decide what role it wants to play in the world. Does it want to be a spectator? Does it want to turn a blind eye? Or actually, does it want to uphold the international rules, the order-based system that we all sign up to because we believe in the rights of human beings wherever they may be on this planet? And I'm afraid, for too long, that hasn't followed. I think the thing that stood out for me was when the lockdown first came in August, the mood in my town in Oldham, where we have a very large Kashmiri heritage community, wasn't actually one of anger, which I expected, to be honest. It was one of sadness, it was one of desperation, and it was one of fear, actually, where they couldn't get through to their family members. I'm not talking about distant family members, I'm talking about brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers who they could not make contact with, and they were fearful about what was happening to them. And to be honest, they were right to be fearful. Since that lockdown began in August, we've seen 4,000 people affected by that, and it shows no signs of being resolved anytime soon. I think we have made reasonable progress as a cross-party group of parliamentarians, where actually we just want to make progress on this. But it's also fair to say that we haven't made the impact that we wanted to make in terms of actually having a tangible improvement that people in Kashmir and the region will be able to see. And so I think the reflection that I would have today is, what can we do collectively as parliamentarians with the platform that we've got across political party to make sure not that this is raised again, because we'll keep on raising it because we care about the issue, right? But is what tangible actions can we have that progresses this? And first of all, we see a cessation of the human rights violations that are taking place in India-occupied Kashmir. And that's got to be a matter of urgency, because actually it doesn't matter where you stand, in a sense, on whether there should be a plebiscite in Kashmir and whether we should be moving towards self-determination. It doesn't matter whether you believe in that or not, in a sense. If you just believe in human rights and that every human being has a right to live their lives without interference, harassment, abuse, the threat of death and violence, which hopefully we all agree with, then you can't turn a blind eye and you've got to take action. And I think the very fact that that's now been outlined in the UN report that was issued, I think the very fact that India will not allow independent observers to go and actually see for themselves what's going on is telling in itself. But the danger with these type of issues is we can all say, and every nation in the world can say, this is an international issue that requires the international community to do something about it. Almost as if we're all waiting for another country to take a leadership role, and if that happens, then maybe we'll come in support of that. And I'll just say this finally, the UK, as much as it might wish to, cannot forget that it has a historic role. It has a moral obligation to make sure that it sees peace in that region for all the reasons that are well rehearsed. And obviously, whatever role that I can play in doing that, in convening, in adding to the conversation, in pressing in Parliament, in coming to events like this, then I will. Because the thing actually that I really remember from last year in response to lockdown, and we had an event in Manchester at Piccadilly Gardens where hundreds of people turned out in solidarity. But actually, even in Oldham, a small town in the north of Greater Manchester, we had about 150 local people who came out to our main town square to show solidarity and support and stand together in unity. And for me, that was so powerful, because what that said to me was, this is not a conflict in a distant land 4,000 miles away. This is a conflict that affects people in their homes, in their hearts, in a town like Oldham. And because of that, we've got an obligation to do something about it.